everyone, this is Jacqui Cooper with JCooperTravels, and I am really excited to have an inventor, an entrepreneur, and a woman here who has a very inspiring story for bringing a very creative and very needed product to the market, which we're going to talk about in a quick second. I just want to give you, a few quick takeaways for what this podcast and this the YouTube video will be sharing with you. You're going to be learning both how to bring a product to market. You're going to be learning also what happens when you are exploring patents or trademarks, a little bit there. And you're going to be learning also about this very unusual travel bag that has innovated, and it's really innovative in its style for organization. You really haven't seen this on the market until now. So I also encourage you to stay to the end. When you stay to the end, you're actually going to have access to a gift code, both from a travel perspective as well as a discount on the bag. So definitely stay to the end so you can enjoy both of those. Mary, thank you so much for being here today. I really am excited. I've listened to your story. I've learned about your bag, and I personally can't wait to get one. So that way, as I start to travel again, I know that I'll be able to use it, and it has so many different purposes. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Jackie? Thank you for having me.
Sure. So for those that are not familiar with podcasts or with the video side of this, we will always have a block of information, contact information below the podcast as well as below the YouTube. Mary, why don't you go ahead and share for everyone at the top of our podcast exactly where can they reach you? So that way they can connect with you to get one of your great bags.
They can reach me at through my website, travelgeargirl.com, or they can email me at travelgeargirl@gmail.com.
So I am in love with the name Travel Gear Girl. How did that happen? How did that come about?
I ended up, it's a difficult thing to get a trademark name, and this name is not trademarked and it can't be. But 3 times I tried to trademark a name for this bag, and 3 times I failed. And I just kind of gave it up. So I decided, when I put the bag on my website, it looked so lonely that I ended up adding some travel accessories. And then I wanted it to be geared toward women and helping them organize and stay safe when they travel. And so the name just popped into my head, and I went on GoDaddy and checked, and it was available, so I got it.
That's great. That's awesome. So how did you actually come up with the idea to create a travel bag? How did that happen?
Well, that's kind of a funny story. I was dating a guy for a while, and he had invited me over one night for dinner. And when I arrived, he asked me, "Did you bring your slut bag?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "Oh, you've never heard that term before?" And I said, "No, and that's rude." And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's a thing." And I said, "Well, I don't think it's very nice, And it bothered me the next day. And I was just thinking about that. And then the name, and a different name came up. So I got a name that popped into my head, and I thought of the shag bag. And I thought, now that would be a cute name for an overnight bag. Mm-hmm. But I just, just thought it was funny and just went on. And then later in the week, all of a sudden, a design for this bag just popped into my head out of nowhere. And I just thought, wow, that's kind of an interesting idea for a travel bag. I wonder if there's anything like it. So I jumped on the computer and looked and looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't find anything except for some bags have the one section at the bottom for shoes, but nothing like this one.
So, so you came up with the bag through inspiration. You came up with the name of your of the bag and your website and your business also through inspiration. What has been the journey like for you getting the bag made into market? I know that as an entrepreneur, I'm not in the product side. I'm in the service side. So I have no clue. And I know there's so many different levels to this. So how has that been for you?
You know, I have to say that for the last 10 years, I've been a real estate photographer.
Wow, that's so different.
Yeah, and I didn't have any background in bringing a product to market and how to go about it. So it took a lot of research and I think the best thing I did in the beginning was starting to do business networking. And a friend, I met a lady at a meetup and she said, oh, I have this business networking group and you've got to come. And then it just kind of rolled on. Kept meeting and meeting more people, and they would recommend other people to me, and it just opened up more and more doors for me. And so that was great. Also, the organization score.org is a really great resource, and it's free. And they have really great mentors that you can find that'll help guide you.
So I don't mean to interrupt, but explain to someone who might not know, what does SCORE stand for?
Oh, shoot.
If you're not sure, I'll look it up and we'll put that information.
I just know it by SCORE, but it's a group of retired business executives that now give free advice to entrepreneurs to help them on their journeys.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And how did you find that? How did you find SCORE?
You know, somebody just told me that through one of these business groups. They recommended that. And so, you know, it all depends where you live.
Yeah.
The resources you can get.
That's true, even though a lot of things are on Zoom right now and virtual. So that makes it a little bit easier. Tell us about the bag. I'm super excited for you to show the bag. For those that are on the podcast, you're missing out, but we'll try to describe it. Definitely hop over to the YouTube J Cooper Travel Show side. That way you can see it. So tell me more about the bag.
Okay, hold on here. I'll get it. Okay. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Okay, it's got 3 separate levels where you can put your shoes in one section, your clothes in another section, and then your toiletries and personal items in the top section. So it opens up like that.
So how did you decide on the material? Because I see it's black and then it has like an animal print. Does that change, or is that the primary print?
Right now, this is the primary one I have. I just got a shipment in, and they would only allow me one design.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's definitely fashion forward.
I figured that, you know, leopard print's classic. It never goes out of style.
Yeah.
And
it goes with so many different things because it's a very neutral color. So it definitely can go with, you know, the vibrant colors or, you know, softer colors.
Yeah. And I have this suitcase sleeve on the back. So it'll go up, you know, over a suitcase sleeve to.
Oh, that's brilliant, because so often I know when I've been traveling and struggling, you know, I put it over my shoulder. And then I don't have the ability, even when I have the luggage hand go up, to be able to put it through. So that's great. So how do you, when you are zipping, so how does it open up?
It just opens one level the top opens and then the next level opens, just like.
So you definitely can keep everything easily separate and you'd only have to open up what you need.
Exactly. You know where to find it. You're not digging to the bottom of the bag to find what you need, because so many times all the little stuff falls to the bottom and you're digging and you mess up all your stuff, and then your clothes get all wrinkled up and you know.
I would think that when you're going through customs or like the travel space now in airports, this will make it easier too,
Yes.
because then when they want to check things, they can just open up one section at a time and not everything goes sprawling all over.
Yeah, and especially if they did have a large duffel bag, like I said, they would, the TSA would be in there rummaging
Yeah.
around, trying to see what's all in there. And yeah, so this alleviates that as well.
Now, I know you talk about it for travel, but this has so many more purposes than just for travel. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a teacher in addition to being an entrepreneur in the travel space, but what other purposes have you thought about?
Well, of course, I was saying the overnight thing. If you're going to your honey's overnight, it's a good overnight bag to have everything organized where you can find it. But it's good for expectant mothers who are going to go to the hospital. They can put the baby's clothes in one section and their clothes in another, and their personal items in the other, so they know where to find everything when they need it. And it's all separated. Also, my niece, she uses hers for her. She has a 1-year-old, and when she takes her daughter to her grandma's, she'll put the toys in one section. She'll put her clothes in another, and diapers and stuff, and then she'll put her food, little snacks and food, on the top. And so grandma can easily find everything when she needs it.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That was a thought that I had right before you mentioned it, that it'd be great for families just because of the fact that it's so versatile.
Yeah. Also, even if somebody had 2 kids and 2 small children, and they wanted to keep the clothes separate, they can have, one child's clothes in one section and one child's clothes in another section, and just put their personal stuff at the top and just take one bag with them when they travel.
It definitely would work. Quick question. Where would they be able to get this bag? If they're interested, would they get it?
They can find it at my website, travelgeargirl.com.
Okay, great. So again, we're just mentioning that because as we get to the end of our talk, which we're not yet, there's going to be a special code. So you want to make sure you stay on so that way you can learn more how you can get a discount off of the bag. I keep thinking of more and more people that I know that will want this for sure. What advice can you give someone who's thinking about inventing a product? I know, like you said, you were in real estate, you were a photographer, you've done a lot of different businesses, but this is something that was new out of your area of knowledge. So you had to probably learn a lot, and inventing is, it's inspirational, but the whole process can be very complex. What have you found?
Oh, it's a dog eat dog world. It's not pretty. Um, it can be very frustrating, to say the least. There's a lot of people out there who take advantage of people and tell them everything they want to hear. In fact, I had somebody tell me everything I wanted to hear and made me promises, and I believed them, and I lost a bunch of money. And so my biggest advice is never give anybody money up front, no matter how much you think they're connected. Even, I had gotten a referral from a friend that knew them and said, oh yeah, they're great people, they're great people. But that wasn't, that I should have asked more people and be very skeptical of anybody out there, even the big shots out there who really have a lot of YouTube presence, that they'll take your money too. So you just, there's a United Inventors Association is a good resource.
Great to know.
Yeah, they have a lot of good resources. And yeah, the best thing I can say is to get a prototype made of your design and then do some test marketing with it. Get some, and do a survey. It's hard to do a live survey right now because of COVID for this last year. So if you can get photos and a video made and then get it out there on a survey platform to get input, that helps immensely. And definitely do that before you have a lot made.
So what was the time frame for you getting your patent?
The patent took a little over a year due to COVID. It took a little longer than normal.
And I know that there's a little bit of an investment in getting a patent. About approximately, what's the cost of maybe getting a patent?
It depends on the type of patent you get. I had a design patent, so those are less cost and quicker to get. So those are anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000.
Still quite an investment if you.
It all depends. Just shop around. I always say shop around for a good lawyer.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, my background's law, but it definitely is not in the patent area. And you're right. You do have to kind of make sure that you, whether it's a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever, you have to just make sure you find one that's in that niche, in that area, as well as, someone that's reputable.
Right.
Because there are specialty areas.
Yeah, a lot of them will give a good, a lot of them will give a free consultation, and that's always helpful.
So before you started your journey, you definitely had a different business. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? And are you still doing that?
Yes. You have to kind of go from one and you start the other and you're kind of juggling both at the same time. But yes, I was actually, I've always loved photography. So I was a realtor for a while in the early 2000s. And then when the market took a dive in 2008, I tried to hold on for a couple more years, but I got interested in doing real estate photography, and I just thought it'd be a perfect marriage of the two things I loved. So that's how I got into it.
So where are you based?
Right now I'm in San Diego, California.
In San Diego. That's beautiful. I love travel. How is it down there?
Oh, beautiful this time of year.
Yeah. So where have been some unusual places that you've taken photographs of?
Around here or?
Yeah, either around San Diego. Are there any specific areas that you have personal favorites to take photos of, like whether it's a mountain or a beach area or?
Oh, La Jolla Shore, the La Jolla Cove area is always beautiful around the beaches in La Jolla, and then Balboa Park and downtown San Diego. There's the waterfront. There's a lot of stuff to see.
There's definitely a lot of stuff. So what do you see for the future? Where do you see the bag? What do you see about different products? What do you see for your own business and what you envision down the road?
Well, I'm just hoping that I get the bag is well received and I can get it into some stores, or possibly get a company to license it, maybe that somebody that's bigger that can take it over. Since I don't have, the big manufacturing type of experience that some companies might have. But I want to keep taking the travel gear girl and networking with other women and traveling and just giving them some information that way.
I think that you've really hit on something with the bag. It's really unique. It's very special. And I'm hoping that, with my listeners, both on the podcast as well as on the YouTube and through LinkedIn and the other networks that I have, hoping that someone will hear this and reach out to you so that way you can definitely get the partners that you are looking for. So why don't you share one more time how they can find the bag and connect with you?
Okay, they can find me at travelgeargirl.com, travelgeargirl@gmail.com, and I'm on Instagram at travelgeargirl on Instagram as well, and Facebook.
So, for everyone who's been listening, many of you know my background, both in law as well as in education, and also in being an entrepreneur in the travel space. And one of the things I want to definitely share with everyone who's listening is I actually have access to a wholesale discount travel platform that can save up to 35% on your travels, both locally as well as overseas. There's a 110 price match guarantee, and it's less than Expedia and Priceline. And it's free to access. You just have to activate the platform with a private complimentary code. And the reason why there's a private complimentary code is that each time that you activate the site or go and use it, our foundation actually donates to Mana Relief and Children's International, so families are fed meals. And since last March, we've fed over 4 million families. So definitely check out the code that I will be putting into the podcast and YouTube link. The code will expire. So if you access it after listening to the podcast, a while down the road, and it has expired, just reach back out to me at JCooperTravels@gmail.com. And the other thing, thank you so much for staying to the end, that we shared with you is that you would be able to have a discount on one of these travel bags. So in order for you to enjoy your surprise discount, we need you to be able to email Mary at her email or through her website and just mention that you have listened to J. Cooper Travels. And by saying that, you will actually have access to an exclusive discount code and on the bag that you order. So any last minute thoughts, Mary, on what you'd like to share with our listeners?
No, I'm just offering an extra $20 off the bag. So.
And what is the cost of the bag right now? I know it might go up later, but right now, what is it?
$99.99.
Awesome. And that's really, really a special price, especially because, as you know, bags, we have them, we wear them out. We keep them for forever. So no, it's I can already think of like 5 different people that I know would just love this. So thank you so much for being on here, and I look forward to learning more about your success of the bag and all the other new products that you're going to be inventing and sharing down the road. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.